Every single morning, you play a psychological game you never signed up for. The moment you step into an elevator, a coffee shop, or a boardroom, the human brains around you run an automated background check. Within 3 seconds, before you even clear your throat to speak, people have already subconsciously calculated your income, potential, your leadership capability, and how much social leverage they need to give you. And the primary data point their primitive brain is feeding on? Your height. But this isn't another generic self-help video telling you to stand up straight or that size doesn't matter. It matters. In fact, modern data shows your exact height acts as a strict biological blueprint that dictates everything from your paycheck to your cellular expiration date. Today, we are stripping away the fluff and looking at the raw evolutionary data. We'll look at the hidden economic premium of being tall, the shocking longevity tax that comes with a larger frame, and exactly how to hack these primitive biases, whether you are 5'4" or 6'5". Because at the end of the day, height is just the hand you're dealt. Strategy is how you play it. Let's start with a statistical anomaly that drives labor economists crazy. In the United States, only about 3.9% of adult men are 6'2" or taller. Yet, if you look at the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, almost a third of them sit at that exact height or higher. This isn't a meritocracy, it's an evolutionary glitch. Back in 1920, legendary psychologist Edward Thorndike coined the term the halo effect. He noticed that when humans observe one positive physical trait, like symmetry, fitness, or commanding height, our brains lazily assume that person is also smarter, more ethical, and more competent, and this glitch has a literal dollar value. A landmark study by Dr. Timothy Judge analyzed decades of workplace data and found that every single inch of height correlates to roughly an extra $800 to $900 in annual earnings. Over a 30-year career, that height premium compounds into a massive financial head start over shorter peers with the exact same resume. Why are we like this? Because your brain is running on software written 50,000 years ago. In the Pleistocene epoch, a taller leader meant a greater physical shield against predators. But in the 21st century, where the biggest corporate threats are cyber attacks and shifting market margins, physical size is completely irrelevant to competence. Yet the bias remains. But here is where the narrative completely flips. Because that evolutionary advantage comes with a massive hidden biological invoice. If you look strictly at the data of human lifespan, an undeniable pattern emerges. In the biological lottery, a smaller footprint almost always lasts longer. A massive epidemiological study published in Folia Morphologica analyzed data from over 840,000 individuals. The conclusion was razor sharp. There is a statistically significant inverse relationship between height and lifespan. On average, shorter individuals live longer, healthier lives. To understand why, we have to look at the laws of physics and biology. Think of a taller body not as a superior machine, but as a high-maintenance engine operating under extreme mechanical torque. Every human body starts from a single cell. A taller person requires significantly more cell divisions to build their frame and maintain their tissue. Over a lifetime, simple mathematics dictates that more cell divisions mean a higher probability of DNA replication errors. What biologists call molecular entropy. This directly correlates with an increased statistical risk of specific cellular mutations. If you are 6'4", your heart is fighting a brutal, lifelong battle against gravity. It has to pump blood up a much longer vertical column to reach your brain and push it all the way back up from your feet. This requires higher baseline intra-arterial pressure over a lifetime, putting constant incremental stress on the cardiovascular walls. In mechanical engineering, a longer lever requires vastly more force at the fulcrum to move a load. If you have long limbs, Your muscles and tendons are constantly pulling against extreme mechanical disadvantage. This is why orthopedic data shows that taller individuals suffer significantly higher rates of chronic lower back compression, hip degeneration, and knee cartilage wear by the time they hit their 50s and 60s. Even when you look at elite athletes, like the 2017 study on thousands of former NBA players published in PLOS 1, the data holds up. Taller athletes routinely experience higher rates of early cardiovascular events compared to their shorter high-endurance counterparts. So where does that leave you? If you're shorter, you're dealing with an uphill psychological battle in social hierarchies. If you're taller, your joints and heart are on a ticking biological clock. The goal isn't to wish you had a different skeleton. The goal is to optimize the one you have. If you have a more compact frame, you routinely face what sociologists call the underestimation effect. People subconsciously drop their guard around you because their primitive brains don't register an immediate physical threat. Do not fight this. Exploit it, because people don't view you as an aggressive rival. They talk more freely. They vent. They reveal strategy. And they share critical data. You have an organic backstage pass to what people actually think. To anchor your authority when it is time to lead, use vocal dominance. Research in behavioral communication shows that speaking from the diaphragm, lowering your vocal pitch and slowing your delivery rhythm, instantly overrides physical size biases. Short declarative sentences combined with steady unblinking eye contact shatter any subconscious underestimation instantly. If you fall into the American baseline average, you possess the ultimate social blank canvas. You don't trigger the protective instinct of a small frame, nor do you trigger the defensive threat mechanism of a giant. Because your physical size is neutral, you are judged almost purely on performance and execution. Your competitive advantage is adaptability. You can pivot seamlessly between an empathetic, approachable teammate and a highly assertive leader without causing cognitive friction. In the room, your play is radical consistency. Because people aren't distracted by your physical extremes, your reliability, punctuality, and output carry double the weight. If you are tall, the room is already looking at you. You have instant credibility momentum, but that momentum carries a steep psychological tax. The cognitive dissonance penalty. If a tall person walks into a room looking physically dominant but projects anxiety, hesitation, or insecurity, the social punishment is brutal. The human brain hates contradiction. It expects your internal confidence to match your external scale. Furthermore, a neutral expression on a massive frame is often subconsciously misread as anger, arrogance, or judgment. If you are over 6 foot, your daily job is the active projection of psychological safety. You do not need to perform power moves. Your skeleton does that for you. To be a successful leader, you must intentionally deploy open body language. Smile first, and lower your volume. You must make people feel safe in your perimeter, not small. Here is the ultimate truth that the raw data often leaves out. Genetics deals the cards, but lifestyle plays the hand. Yes, a massive study says height correlates with lifespan, but a tall individual who prioritizes core stability, maintains a low inflammatory diet, and manages systemic stress will vastly outlive a shorter individual with a sedentary lifestyle and poor sleep hygiene. If you want to protect your physical and psychological capital starting today, commit to 3 non-negotiables. First, the spine insurance policy. If you are over 5 foot 10, daily core stabilization isn't a recommendation. It's preventative medicine. Forget high-impact sit-ups. Commit to 5 minutes of isometric planks and bird dogs every single morning to protect your lower lumbar from mechanical torque. Second, the ergonomic reset. Stop adapting your body to a world built for the average. Adjust your monitor to your exact eye line. Invest in a standing desk if you have long limbs. Every hour you spend slouched Over a low laptop is permanent damage to your structural frame. Third, the presence hack. True presence has nothing to do with centimeters. It is the alignment of your chin, the opening of your shoulders, and the calm, steady cadence of your voice. Your height is a fixed number on a medical chart. It's an interesting piece of data, but it is not your destiny. Master the biology you were given. Understand the primitive biases of the brains around you, and dictate your own position in the room. Drop your height in the comments below and tell me what's the biggest hidden tax or secret premium you've experienced. Navigating the world in your frame. I'll see you in the next video.